So Mandy, I'd love to share, to hear you share about your story. I think it's relevant to go back to like addiction. So you've been very open about, first of all, let's celebrate Mandy's 10 years of sobriety.
Yes.
Woo! Yes.
What?
What? And when we started working together, it was like 8 years of sobriety, and his last couple of years went so fast. However, so can you go back to where you think it's appropriate to go back to share some context? Because I really want to we're going to talk about addiction and also the links of different addictions and how you handled that throughout, the years, one little step at a time, literally, right? You go through steps in AA.
Right.
Okay, so take us back. Where would you like to start?
Well, right at the beginning of my sobriety, when I started, I joined AA 10 years ago. I went to my first meeting. I met my sponsor. And I was in the thick of it. I was in a really bad place. I mean, I won't get into my drinking issues, but during my sobriety, all I wanted to do was get through that day. And if you've ever been through that, anyone watching, that what we're told is just don't drink today. That's it. The 24 hours in front of you. Sometimes it's just the seconds in front of you that you got to get through, because we're so used to coping with every single thing with a drink in our hand. We're so used to I don't know how to get up in the morning without having that in the back of my mind. Okay, I'm going to drink later so I could get this done so I could drink later. Or I'm at a party, I need a drink. I have, social situations. I want to have a drink in my hand, but also just like good days, bad days. Like if I've had a great day, I celebrate with a drink. If I've had a bad day, I deal with it with a drink in my hand. So in the beginning, that was it. That was all I needed to do, was get through that day. So one of the sciences behind alcohol is that there's the sugar in it. Even though they say there's no calories in vodka, there is sugar alcohol or sugar alcohol content. So our bodies are really used to that sugar. So as a result, I used to carry around a bag of Twizzlers at all times. I was munching on Twizzlers or Starbursts. I have Starbursts I stuck in my hand. And even in the big book of AA, it actually says to carry around candy in your pocket, just to throw that in your mouth to kind of help with that. Your body's is like, what the heck is going on? I need that boost. So it takes a little bit of time for your body to regulate after having all that sugar in your system for so many years.
Isn't it also that, would you think some of it is that oral fixation? Like I know they say a lot of that with cigarettes, because that makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, I'm used to putting this thing in my mouth and now it ends up being a Twizzler or food or something. But so I think that could be a combination of things, some physiology with the sugar alcohols, but maybe also that you were so physically used to drinking, like putting something to your mouth, that then the replacement of that.
Oh, girl, to this day, I always have a glass with me. Yeah. There's always a glass of, like, this is greens and water. It's different, but to this day, I still have a glass of something. And I mean, when I was in New Jersey, you remember? Yeah. I always had it full of something.
Yeah.
I always have that too. So yeah, there is that constant, just that need that. I don't know, but it's now like I said, I'm drinking my greens and my water and stuff, which is different, obviously. It's healthy stuff, but yeah, there was even a joke that I used to carry a big gulp with me everywhere I went, because I needed to have that big gulp and that ice and stuff in my hand. The sound of the ice, the whole making of the drink, the whole dance. And it's like 4 years into my sobriety, my father was playing a game, and he's not an alcoholic. He doesn't have any drinking issues, but he said, Mandy, will you do me a favor and make me a drink? I looked at that cup like, you just asked me to start a dance that I don't want to finish. It's that ingrained in us.
Yeah.
That like, if I was to take a glass and put ice in it and put vodka in it and put the cup in it, what's next? It's a crazy. It's nuts how it's there, and it's going to be there for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
I do not agree with the fact that I'm recovered. I am in recovery for the rest of my life. So with that said, I am in recovery the rest of my life. So I was like, during that process, I was like, I'm at a party. I can't drink. Everyone's drinking. And I would get mad, of course, because I'm like, I want to drink.
Yeah.
You know, in the back of my head, I wish I could drink like normal people can. So I would sit down and I have some dip, some chips and dip, you know, or candy or whatever it was that was there. I was like, well, I'm going to live in this moment without drinking. So I'm going to do something else. It kind of filled that void, which is fine, completely fine in the beginning of recovery. I would say do whatever the fuck it takes to get through the day without drinking.
Mhm.
I will, you know, and I've heard people say like, oh, you know, I quit drinking. So I only eat vegetables and I full high protein. And I'm like, dude, don't do that to yourself. Just stay sober. You know,
Well, literally one step at a time. It's like you can't like that's asking way too much of yourself, your nervous system, everything that you're trying to sort through and heal. It's like it's not even feasible. No wonder why then people get pulled back into the drink because you're not being realistic about one baby step at a time, one layer at a time. Let me handle this, build that foundation, and then I'd be willing and strong enough to even address the other things.
Oh yeah, dude. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's kind of like, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I would say there were multiple times during sobriety that I wanted to go on a diet or I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, but I was just not there yet. I was just not there yet. And I've tried, like I said, I mean, like most Americans, I've been on a million of the diets. I've been on all of the diets. And during one of the things that you do that, I mean, most people know that we have the 12 steps of AA, and you don't just put down the drink. You have, now that you put down the drink, you have to deal with your resentments, you have to clean up your side of the street, make amends, all of this emotional stuff, so they don't have that emotional stuff weighing on you to get you to go, oh, I feel so crappy, let me just drink, you know? So you're cleaning up your life. And I was always very concerned because I knew that there was something else. Like I kept on saying, I'm like, so Weight Watchers says I got to count points, but like, what about that other thing that makes me want to eat? Because I know that there's all this other stuff that makes me want to drink. So if there's all this other stuff that makes me want to drink, there has to be a bunch of things that make me want to eat. And God, I was just like, there's got to be something. And I was searching and searching. And finally, I was fast forward to now, when I was, a year and a half now ago, that I was just on YouTube. And like I said, I must have like followed you from like biking or something. I don't know, but
well, maybe not now that I'm learning, like, cause I'm getting back into my YouTube channel. I'm going to, we're going to be giving you guys more content. Look forward to that. But I'm learning even with, so YouTube algorithms, it could be like, maybe you had at one point subscribed to my channel. I don't know, but just cause you subscribe doesn't mean you actually see any of my shit. So it ends up being, if you had any interest and we're starting to watch some videos anyway on the topic, then the algorithm, therefore it brought us together. So the YouTube algorithm brought us together to be able to like answer prayers and like, wait, why did this pop into my feed just when I was asking for it?
Yeah, I was looking into things like body acceptance.
Okay.
And that, but I also at the same time, like the body acceptance world is kind of like on the other side. It's like, okay, so there's diet and there's that diet culture, which is just doomed because you're never going to be able to stick to something that somebody else tells you to do.
I love how you said cult and then had to redirect culture. It's kind of
I have ideas. I have ideas about how we're all in this, we've all been indoctrinated into this cult of we're just never going to be good enough. So we're
exactly.
do what I say, do what I say. And then you're
Yeah.
like, I can't. So,
Yeah. Yeah. But
um,
you were already
so,
going down that to explore
yeah,
that like body. And so like, yeah, the one side's the diet thing. And then the other side is,
fat acceptance
yeah.
and just, it's like, so you're going to be, I accept my body for what it is, do whatever the hell you want. And that didn't feel good for me either because I didn't want to be overweight. I didn't want to have this weight. I didn't want to have the pains of my lower back because I have a big chest and a big tummy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to fix that, but I also wanted to fix my mentality because I hated myself.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the way I looked. I hated my body because it was just so uncomfortable to be in my own skin.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did Stumble Upon the Roadmap to Food Freedom, day one, oh my gosh, this woman is talking about my brain and how I deal with life using food. And you're not saying, okay, you have to do so many calories, you have to have so many steps, you have to have so many, whatever. You're like, today is your day to do the best you can for yourself. And I was like, this is new, because I was, the pendulum.
You
You
see,
said like,
like, how is like that's such a basic fundamental thing, but we're so pulled off of that with media and our culture and these agendas behind dieting. Let's just face it, right? There's so much money to be made, and there's something wrong with you, and let me throw money into dieting. But this basic thing of, wow, wait a second, if I actually move through my day based on like what makes me feel happy and fulfilled and feels really good, that's how I can navigate it. Like,